Hi, where's the pretty camera and lighting? Um, this is what I'm thinking about right now, starting this video. I feel like I've really put off, and I knew I would do this, but I, I really put off making more videos for many reasons. One of them being that, well, it's a lot of work to have the camera set up and lights set up or filming at the right time of day in order to have the sort of pretty shot that I know I'm capable of, and therefore I am really attached to producing. So I'm going to talk about priorities. Priorities are something that I've always really sucked at, and once I put my attention to this fact and decided that being more able to own priorities, own what is a priority for me, I made that a priority, but it's been a few years since then, or at least a couple of years, and I've definitely made some progress in that, but it's still something that if I'm not conscious of, I still suck at. So first priority, priorities when it comes to making these videos specifically. I've done more than enough videos about making these videos. The meta topic, yada yada, is pretty boring, but also we'll get to that. It doesn't really matter anyway. The priority in making these videos is that I make the videos, because the most difficult thing about making them is not setting up the camera. I have those skills. I've had those skills for years. I can keep developing those skills. Yay, it's fun. I do like making videos. I do like making them pretty. I'm proud of that. The priority for me is to make the videos, to make it a habit, one, and two, to speak on video. That is, I said that in my earlier videos, in my trailer, whatever. I said I'm making these videos because I want to practice speaking. There are many other reasons too, but turns out all those reasons, all the most important reasons for making these videos, are supported by making these videos, whether or not they are pretty. So I'm doing that. So I think it's enough talking about that. But yeah, just gonna talk about where I'm at, and as I make these videos more often, I can make them prettier, I can do other fun things, I can talk about more interesting topics. There's a lot I would like to do, but something that something that I have wanted to make these videos for recently is just, I have things to share, I have things to say, and you know what? My go-to has always been to just say them to myself, to say them to a friend, to process out how my life is going, and I'll continue to do that. But I'm realizing that I'm making a lot of progress in life, and I want some of that to be more visible. I want some of that to be more accessible. I'm really proud of some of my progress in life and as a person, trying to become conscious and peaceful, and I want to share more of that, which is not to say that I want to share it or I want to share it now, but the fact is that if I want to share it later, then I also need to go ahead and start speaking now, because I'm not confident. I don't want to share these videos, beyond what feels like a controlled circle of people that I feel comfortable in this context of growing as a person still. So yeah, I'm going to, this video is also for the purpose of practice primarily, because I don't want to, it's not a good video. I'm rambling about making videos. It's so circular, you could you could throw up from the circular motion. Yeah, but I did make a video earlier this morning because I had a lot of energy and I wanted to talk out loud instead of just instead of sitting in the feeling. So I'm going to share that. And then I'm just thinking about where I've been the last 6 months since I made a video. I mean, and now I don't want to talk about it. Look at that. I don't want to talk about it anymore. But I was thinking about sort of the mood, and thinking about the videos I made earlier this year to start this channel, just, I don't know, like, I feel like there's still so much in those videos, and maybe it's still here now, of just, yay, I'm smiling, and I'm so happy to be on video, and this is the only face I can show to the public. You know, it's like, I don't feel as much of that energy anymore, and I like the positive energy sometimes. I just don't like only having the positive energy as the face that I can show, which I think is what I think tells me that I value the idea, the vision of having a sort of solemn, that seems pretentious somehow, sort of a solemn face on video. I think it's just I think it's more like a desire to feel the freedom of, I can be myself. I think it's, you know, I am finding my own personal attachment to the idea and the word of authenticity, which I think in the past I would have cringed at so much, but I mean, who cares? It's valuable to me now. I can actually say that, and I think I'm discovering it in all types of ways, at all types of levels. So I'm thinking about making more videos again. I'm really happy about the sort of confidence that I know I can bring, even if there's so much work to do, even if the videos do suck still. I'm kind of excited to make them in a way that I guess I kind of was 6 months ago, but in practice was not so much. But yeah, I'm probably gonna make them like this, with the fucking selfie cam setup, with me rambling for how long? I can't tell how long, but I think it's a long time. I think the process I want to follow will be something like, just shoot a video, talk for a while. I know I can ramble, and you know, even if I'm going to make a point and I've actually planned out what I want to say, which I did not this time, I just started with the topic of priorities, then I can ramble for as long as I need to deliver the material, to hit the beginning, middle, and end of the topic that I chose, and then cut that into something under 10 minutes, preferably under 5 minutes. You know, it could almost be like a podcast where I probably ramble for an hour, no problem, and then actually do the work, go in and find the clips from that ramble that, you know, there's coherence in there. And I think if I talk long enough and I have an outline, I think that's a very doable method for this project, is rambling until I've made my point, and then going in and just taking the point out. This is how I write. I don't think I would actually understand this process as well as I do if I had not learned it from writing. Writing, you just have a lot of time to see. You don't need me to explain this. When you write, you can ramble as well, and you can lay out all the pieces. And then for me, I discovered that all the pieces are there, and really the hard work is going in and clearing away all the bullshit, clearing away everything that was really just noise, that was really just filler, that was really just there because I wasn't confident enough, I wasn't clear enough on what I actually wanted to say, enough to just say it. And that's an okay process, especially at this stage. It's very much still the process that I need to lean on when I do write, especially when there's any kind of pressure on what I'm writing. The longer and bigger the project is, the more I actually need to lean on that system. So I think that is also going to be my process for these videos, especially starting out. So yeah, I'm gonna cut that out if I can. Just kidding, I'm gonna post this video, probably uncut, which I hate. But since I talked about rambling to make these videos, let me talk about priorities a little bit more, and actually explain some of my thoughts over the last couple of years in developing priorities. I think it really was important to start with a really basic, really almost meaningless definition or working definition, which was like, okay, priorities, it's what I like, it's what I care about. And it's like, it started with, okay, like, what's my favorite ice cream, you know, what do I like spending my time on? It's like, yeah, I mean, that can kind of come out of your priorities, but it's like it wasn't until later that year, and I had much more challenging personal problems in friendships and relationships, just, you know, getting a better sense of, well, okay, really, later that year, really grappling with the fact of I have to stand on my priorities in terms of the people that I care about, the people that I'm going to stand by, because if I don't, I'm just going along for the ride. And if I just go along for the ride, I'm really not building the sort of strong personality that I do value. And it's like, oh, there's the priority. It's like when there's pressure, when there's conflict, I realize that I don't want to be a weak person. I don't want to just go along with comfort. I don't want to just go along with someone else who has a stronger opinion, who has a stronger, you know, usually meaner assertion. I do actually know I do actually know the people who are the priorities to me. That's when there's conflict. It's like, oh, wait, no, these are my people. I'm going to stand by them. Okay, that's a priority. It's a priority in the sense that it matters to learn to recognize and stand by my priorities, because there will be times where there's pressure on me and on my commitments. And I think that's the first time it became real. And it became real and became clear because there was so much pressure and so much contrast of like, hey, this is the person I care about. Hey, it's my partner. It's like, wow, like how embarrassing to have to learn that lesson of like, hey, if you don't like actually stand by your commitment to the person you actually committed to, then you can end up in a situation where you're not being nice to them. You're not caring about them in the way that is actually a priority. So it's not even about having the priorities versus not having them, but it's about making them conscious so that I can stand by them in a meaningful way, which I think making them conscious makes them meaningful. They're going to be there, whether my priorities are going to be there, whether I make them conscious or not. But there's so much power that comes from being able to own them. Okay, so relationships, that's pretty easy in terms of being able to see it. Now, it's just there's many more layers. I apply priorities to many more areas and in many more specific ways. Ways that I'm thinking about recently is actually integrating a sense of priority into my time management. Starting a few years ago, I started getting really serious about time management in terms of systemization and optimization, and optimizing in terms of being more efficient, and understanding how long does something actually take. How can I be more conscious of my time by setting timers and making a really detailed schedule, something that nobody does, nobody wants to do. It makes you look kind of psychotic, kind of, it makes you look like you have some kind of issue, but people are usually impressed by it. I don't know why I said any of that. I got really extreme with making a schedule and really detailed to-do lists a few years ago. So what I'm doing more recently this year is priorities in terms of I have a better sense of my larger fears and then also my larger priorities and the effects of the different choices I make on how I spend my time specifically. And this is something Wes Watson says, people want from you what you validate yourself with. There's some other related quotes I could kind of think about, like all having to do with how you spend your time matters a lot, and what you prioritize matters, because that's going to show your character. It's going to show your character to other people. That is what is going to attract people to you. That's what's going to attract specific people to you for specific reasons. So, okay, grounding this a little bit, I'm thinking about, I've really valued being consistent, hardworking, and committed to what I signed up for in terms of, usually in terms of school as well as other commitments. If I said I was going to be there, I'm going to be there. I will move other plans. When I make a plan, I'm going to be there. I'm mostly thinking about this in terms of school right now. You have these, I have homework. It's very structured. I go to class. It's not that hard, but it's not always. It's not something that I see. Many other people don't keep up with these types of commitments, and I've had a lot of pride in myself for always keeping up these commitments. Now I'm questioning some of those commitments now, not on their own, but in the terms of priorities, in really understanding that, okay, I can stay up really late and get up really early in order to always finish my homework. I can cancel plans with people. I'm not going to do that so much. I consistently prioritized spending quality time with people, but you consistently have a set of priorities that I don't even really question in the sense of I always spend time with people if I can. Eventually, when homework piles up, I will just stop reaching out to people as much. I will stop putting time into other unrelated to school projects. Really anything. I will get really zoned in on, okay, school is real because it has these, it's what I'm doing right now. School is my main thing. Okay, so of course it's a priority. And I have this homework and I have these deadlines, so it's clear, and that's what I'm doing. I'm sort of questioning the sort of ultimate priority that I give these things now. Not that school is not a priority. It is. But when it comes to individual assignments, I'm more thoughtful about each assignment relative to everything else I have going on. Is it a priority? And some of that is even like it still comes back to what's going to work the best. At the end of the semester, in the end of April, what do I want to have done? How do I want to have spent my time? Two different things. I do want to pass these classes. I want to get top grades in all these classes. That is valuable to me. Not necessarily a priority, though. I can get B's in these classes, and is it really going to change my life that much? If I get less than B's, okay, I think it actually is a priority to at least get B's in these classes. But I have other things going on. I have a thesis. It is a priority to finish this thesis. So working on the thesis, what does it take to get there, I guess? What does it take to get to the end of April with these results? In practice, it's pretty easy to spend time on individual homework assignments, to spend more time on those relative to the results I want than to spend time each day on my dissertation, on my thesis each day in order to feed the result I want from that project at the end of the month, at the end of April. In other words, if I don't own my priorities and take action to really respond to to really respond to my goals, if I don't take action to prioritize my goals the way I would if I did it consciously, if I don't do that consciously, if I don't consciously act to respond to what my priorities are, if I don't connect what my priorities are to the way I'm acting, then my sort of default behavior is going to respond to what feels more urgent, which is not the same as what is important, what is a priority to me. My thesis is a priority to me, more so than my classes. So that should be reflected in the way that I spend my time every day. Oh, I always get my homework done, but I didn't have time for a thesis that day. That's what I did all of last year. I did that for a whole year. And it's like, okay, now I have an extra semester to do the thesis. I have less time than I ever had technically reserved to that project. I now have to own that for real. So I'm doing it. And that's that. There's that. That is that thing. I am being conscious of priorities in even more subtle ways, though. So, just so it's okay. So I've established that thesis is a priority above classes. I have other things that are important to me too. Okay, I'm going to school. I'm going to do these classes, and it's like, it's kind of a given that I'm going to go to class, that I'm going to go to the readings. It's a given that I care about these subjects, and I love being able to connect to other students in the class, and I love being able to show up to class prepared. So I kind of don't have to, and to some extent, I don't have to worry about it. It's easy to prioritize those things to some extent, and to give them some time. What I'm really trying to do is think about and be thoughtful about how much time goes into that. To think about having other priorities with their own sort of spaces. I reserve time to go to class. I reserve time to do homework. I'm learning that I can also, like, hey, maybe it's a priority to get sleep, at least on the weekends. It's a priority to eat. That's also an easy one for me. It's a priority to have time to reflect. And it's not just I value staying in touch with myself and where I'm at with my energy, but if I don't manage that, if I don't manage my sleep, and if I don't manage my emotions, then actually that cuts into the productivity as well. Now that's hard to measure, and it gets kind of messy with, I do also have to manage procrastination and laziness, but I'm learning that there is space for those things too. There is space to say, hey, like, making these videos is a priority, and if I don't make it a priority, I will not do it, and that's why I'm doing it right now in the middle of the semester, even though I keep thinking, well, like, this is my last semester at school, it's an extra busy time, and it is, and so that's my reason not to do other projects that are really important to me, that they actually grow me as a person as much or more than the work I'm doing in school. And that's those are thoughts I want to give more attention to, because they run counter to how I have thought and lived the last few years, where I was like terrified not to put time and work into school, and the results of that have been really good overall, and I haven't spent all that time in negative energy. But I'm learning to be more thoughtful about the intention I put into everything I do. So intention and priority. I'm gonna try to stay on a priority, but I think close to priority is intention. And looking back on 3 years of college, it could have been better if I had done everything the same, but I had not put the same kind of energy and intention. If I had, I would like to think in the past my life could have been better, because the intention that I put behind my actions was one of more peace and less fear. And I'm not going to try to overanalyze the past, but that is just to say that it's something I'm thinking about a lot now as I go through every day. And everything I do, I want to be as conscious as possible of my intention, because even if it doesn't change what I do, it changes how I feel about it. It changes. There are many feelings that will build up based on the actions, based on the intentions I put into my actions. And it's subtle, because again, the actions can be the same, but there can be so much different internally because of what I put into those actions, the thoughts and the beliefs and the feelings that I had in those choices. This is something I want to thinking about, keep talking about, because I don't know how clear it is in this video. But I think that, I don't know if that's like an ending. Like I said, I didn't outline this video. I think those are all my thoughts for now. I kind of wanted to talk about where I'm at, where I've been a little bit, especially in regards to priorities, and also just kind of to put out some of the ideas and thoughts about making these videos again, because this feels like kind of the first of many again. I'm trying not to do that too. I do want to make more videos. I do also want to be more and more grounded in where I am right now. Right now I'm making a video. I have a lot of feelings and thoughts built up around wanting to make these videos despite all the excuses I have not to. And reasons like I can't make them as pretty as I want, or mostly just about not having time. I just have a lot of feelings right now about making these videos is valuable to me for many reasons, and I am tired of making excuses. So here's to more of that very soon. Here's to more coherent, less meta topics, and here's to less fear about anything I do, especially these videos. Goodbye for now.